Alrighty, hello everyone. Sorry for a bit of a delay there, but I just had to get all the notifications out because it's been a while since we've been back. Yeah, we haven't been back at all. It's great as far as it is. As far as it is. It's been about a month actually. So we're back. So there's been a lot going on, so sorry for the delays. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas and New Year, and I hope 2024 has been going well for you. I am going to unmute us and bring us over to everyone else because I don't feel like wasting any more time. I'm excited to get back to this game. So let's go. Let's find out what everybody else is up to and get started. So change stars.
Actually work with the people at the company because she's already basically been doing that because Jerry's having to keep Bella in her office. So when someone's having a bad time in her office, she'll just be like, "Here, hold this," and they
This
leave
baby.
feeling a lot better. Yes. Oh my God. Hello.
Hi. It's
Hello.
okay. I chimed in right as you were storytelling, and I didn't want to interrupt you, but that would sound like a good segue. And here, hold this baby.
No, in this case, it's Chihuahua. Very
it's
sweet
her
little.
baby, but Chihuahua baby.
Yeah, her. I mean, I know her now grown up baby, who is a wonderful man, good friend. It's one of those where I had no idea they were related. Cole and I'd been working together for years when I found out that my manager was his mother.
Oh, awesome! That's really cool.
Uh-huh. And now she and I are friends, and it's one of those where it's we usually, whenever I wind up, because she works for my backup employer, I worked with them in college. Whenever I wind up back working there, usually it's preferred to keep me out of her direct chain of command because we all have known each other for 10 years now. And it's just the kind of like, even when I didn't work there, I'd occasionally just show up her office, "Hey, how you doing?" And we'd sit there have a half-hour conversation while she's dealing with paperwork.
Nice. Well, we are back, and I just wanted to say it's great to be back. It's great to hear from everybody. And I don't really have any news announcements to make. Our unfortunate plans that are happening next week don't really affect this game. So it is something that will still be on the docket unless something catastrophic happens between now and now. But I feel like character introductions should be the next course of action. So why don't I go ahead and kick it off since I'm already running my mouth. Hi, I am Brindis of Party Wave Games. I waved to a camera that is not on. Don't worry about it. I'm Brindis of Party Wave Games. I will be playing the good Dr. Randis Larucio. She is a Martian-born human that is part of the Trinity Research Division, and apparently has graduated to a full-on diplomat at this point because she has rubbed elbows with royalty and has orchestrated I guess you can't say peace talks, but diplomatic negotiations between an entirely new species.
First contact.
First contact, thank you. Yeah, the first contact protocols. Probably really fucked up the Prime Directive, but she's always stuck by the Kirk doctrine, anyways. Picard would be just livid with her, but Kirk would be proud. Yeah.
And Dog is perfectly happy to help these people with we don't want to be slaves or eaten by something out in the wilderness.
Exactly. Speaking of Dog, why don't I just popcorn to you?
Why, hello. I'm John, also known as Captain Kyrian, playing Douglas Dog Crowley, our party security specialist, retired Marine, and of ambiguous rank because I keep forgetting it, changing it, and we keep getting referred to by different things. I think at this point we just need to settle on Sergeant and stick to that.
I really do think we settled on Sergeant the last time, but it's been over a month,
Yeah, because originally I thought he was going to be younger than he is, so it was Corporal, like he only did one tour and then retired, but now, no, he's definitely been in too long. Definitely Sergeant. He is the... Yeah, he's our party marine. So now over to Dougler.
Oh, before me, we have new art for Dog.
Huh?
Yeah, we do have new art for Dog.
We do have new art for Dog. Which,
I-
thank you so
I-
much to our artist, Dougler. Please plug the artist.
Yeah, drop the artist info, and I had put it on there, but I didn't change the token because the token is basically still Dog, so it didn't need to be changed. But there's the new fancy artwork for everybody to see.
Yeah, so the artist is that Art Jack. He's that on Blue Sky and on Twitch.
I can't make
let's
it
see if-
bigger because Roll20 is not very cool like that, but there it is, though.
Jack. I will toss his. Twitch
You know
in
what
chat.
vibes it gives off? It gives off the Team Fortress sniper vibes. You switch his hat out and
Oh my god, it kind of does. So what the vibes it gives off to me is old Master Sergeant.
Yeah.
Admittedly, the person I actually know a guy who looks like that, and he's a retired colonel, which Dog definitely isn't. And actually, I'm related to, the other person he looks like is my great uncle Roy, who is a retired sergeant.
There you go.
He served he's been passed for some time, but he served in the Second World War. My family had some pretty wide generations.
Okay. So my character introductions now.
Yeah.
Hi everybody, I am Dougler93. I am playing Lyra Thule, the Thren pilot, who is desperate to teach people about flight because it's so much fun. She's gonna love it. They're just gonna go like gliders and do all this sort of things. And Popcorn over Shay.
Hello, everybody. Excuse me. Hello, everyone. I am Shay, or Shay the Fate on Twitch. I am playing literally everyone else in this campaign, homebrew of mine, and it is a lot of work to put together, and I need to get back in the swing of things because, oh boy, is real life taking its toll. That being said, we shall jump back into it here. But I would like to know, what does everyone remember from our previous session?
We got to meet the Queen.
We did.
We did.
Our audience offering was a space metal knife.
We did not sell Dog.
We did not.
We have not. We have not we no. Let's see. Apparently the locals are being attacked not just by others of the same species from elsewhere on a planet, but also some kind of thing they referred to as what was it? I don't remember what they called them, but the description of what they do reminds me of
The Gould. How they
actually
the body.
That wasn't my first thought. But it was. But yeah, they sounded like something scary,
Can't
and like
the
something
body,
that may
just
need to
all
be
in
dealt with.
Definitely.
Conveniently, we have a combination of high octane bangity bang and xenologist in the party.
And a zap stick.
Yep.
Fire was teaching Matron's daughter how to drive the land boat thing.
She was incredibly captivated by the ability of this vehicle.
We learned the name of the aggressive of Manak. there was the glowing algae macroorganisms that kind of flew up like kind of balloons, kind of bubbles, which we tried to pop. Fire did bad.
They made me think of giant stentors. I'm sorry, I'm reading your session of the previous your previous session summary and just oh
These
god.
guys.
Yeah, those guys.
Those guys.
They're wonderful. I love them.
They like it when we pop them because it makes them spread more. We're gonna shower before we go back to the ship. So.
I'm sure after every mission in return, you do have to quote-unquote decontaminate. Yeah. But yes, that's more or less it. I guess I do, because I am trying to find the name of the thing that I named before. And I don't quite remember. It was something like Mind Eater.
It's like Soul Thief.
Soul Thief. Yeah, I like that, Soul Thief.
And it was like hollowed a person out from the inside out or something like that was one of the descriptions.
Yep. Oh, and what we as players know, but not as characters know, that the human empire person that managed to crash land was
Eaten.
We assumed eaten by one or possessed by one.
Based on the description, I think it was like a swarm of them. It makes like the description made me think of the water devils out of Hunt Showdown, but on land. But I may also have been misremembering or misinterpreting. Either way, it was really spooky.
Mm-hmm.
The spooks. Man. This is going to be terrifying.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. The question of dog is, under what circumstances are we allowed to use flamethrowers?
There's no Space Canada, so there's no Space Jiva Vision.
Yeah, but we have the equivalent thereof after the war with the Human Empire way long ago.
Right.
Well, not that way long ago, honestly. I mean, we are Trinity. We are the good guys. We don't do things like that to other sentients.
We don't do it anymore.
Yeah. No, there are other shitty things that have been done, but, set them on fire. We have, yeah.
We have other methods.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Other means of making you talk.
Or, in this case, making a bunch of small squiggly wiggly things stop talking, preferably very quickly.
I found a name for it and I like it.
What's the name for it?
I am calling it the Sanchi, or the Soul Thief. It's actual translation is 3 corpses. But it sounds terrifying.
Damn. Yeah.
And it reminds me of a lot of the really early playtests of Changed Stars with other things that were creepy and took people over.
On that,
Alright, does anyone have a really big can of Raid?
Gonna need it. I'm sure it'll be fine. It's a little mind control.
Gross. Really gross.
on that note, though,
On that note, though.
I think we will pick up. Yeah, I'm just gonna dive right into it. So you all have been invited to essentially feast with the queen. How this looks, you are let off. You requested to try out some of the adornments that these creatures wear, and so they do offer you a series of very lightweight gowns that have various jewelry tied into them that are meant to help keep them close to the body. They kind of attach around like the elbows and places where they won't get in the way of sails, but you don't have any sails. You have hair, lots of hair, bright red or dark hair, but they're more or less humanoid, so it's not hard to get them to fit. You're then led out to a clearing further up and outside of where the throne room was. Outside there is a split in the river that creates a circle around a small island, and it's more or less easy enough for them to swim to and from this little island, but there is a deeper part of it where there are some of these locals, these Mixtions, relaxing by the beach. Food has been brought out and set on small little table things where some of them sit around and pick at it. It is pretty much mostly meat. While you're waiting out there, it isn't too long before the rest make their appearance, along which you would actually, you know what? Go ahead and give me anyone who wants to give me a scrutiny.
I'm good, Scrutin.
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 With Scrutin 2.
1. Oh, no, that's 2 for me.
Yay, 1.
Everybody's
Okay.
got at least 1.
You all do see a few of the guards around as well. Rindis, you notice there are more hidden that become quickly more alert when you all make your appearance. They still don't really know much about you.
I can imagine there being extra alert. It makes sense.
Definitely, yeah.
Oh, that's not working.
What's not working?
My little hidden thing. Setting.
The glow bubble followed us.
That do it.
That did it. We definitely didn't see any of that other stuff.
Nope.
Nope. Zoom. That's all that matters for our perspective. Well, I suppose this would be a wonderful time to mingle, take in the hospitality, try not to offend anyone, but so far we have been doing very well. I do not think it would be a problem for any of us. We let the more rambunctious folk back in the village after all. Dog, just remember if anyone propositions you, I believe they still respect consent, so just maintain your no means no, of course.
Dog nods.
This should be a lot of fun, I think.
I think so. I'm excited to see how these people party.
As you all are standing about, there are some more that slip out, and you do notice that one does immediately approach the ruler and the two others at her side. Those two others, of course, having been identified, one as her eldest living daughter and her youngest son, which you can probably pick up that actually, I'm going to ask for insight.
So another scrutiny then?
Nope, insight.
Oh,
Empathy.
there's insight.
Yeah, empathy insight.
He's close to it really well, like surprisingly well. Like, I don't have any fins, but it just kind of fits well and just hangs really good, I think. Buyers distracted to empathize.
It is very light. Doesn't leave. It leaves a little bit to the imagination unless you get wet, which most of them are.
It does occur to me that, so Dog probably actually wore his dress uniform, like he had it packed away and brought with him, because he's not used to thinking about, he's used to thinking formal means dress uniform. So he's in his dress blues.
Yeah,
but they also, because they're not used to having males that large, probably didn't have anything that would have fit nicely on him.
Well, no closer to
He's not coming out in a slave Leia outfit.
No, I don't think he is. I think he's in his dress blues, which is his formal wear.
It's probably for the better. For his own comfort.
For his own comfort.
It's like, no, they offered, but he politely declined.
You want to keep in mind too that they are semi-aquatic, so
it's very transitional.
Many layers are probably not ideal for them.
Mm-hmm.
At least not in this environment.
No,
Doesn't-
it's just they have a very different situation from his. He is not very aquatic and also has spent his entire life in situations where the appropriate honorific male or female was sir.
Did anyone else want to roll an insight?
I can. I was just trying to fix the stream.
I don't think that anything has occurred to Dog beyond standing at attention and following to the right and a half step behind
Wow. Okay.
with Brindis.
She would have been glancing around only out of interest of the party, but she's probably not actively pushing anything. So I will just see
Okay.
where it is.
In that case, you see that she does have two of her children at her side again, seated at her side. These other three that come out, you notice are a couple things that they all share in common. There's varying degrees of tears in their sails, not to the point where it's like bad or injured or anything. But you also see that they each wear I don't want to say gorget, but something, a kind of jewelry around their neck and shoulders that goes around, pierces through the sails, and they have. You notice that there are little slots in them as well, with extra decorations in them. But they go around. One of them goes up and starts to serve a little bit of food to the three up top here, and another goes across over here, while the third approaches you. And they would say, "Is there anything our queen's guests require?"
Yes. Do you happen to have anything beverage-wise, possibly pressed fruits or other liquids that tend to ferment into a beverage that could be consumed?
Fermented? Yes. We have poison.
Technically correct, but I was hoping for alcohol.
That is what I said.
It's like, God damn it, she's not wrong.
You gotta love those translators.
Mm-hmm. Oh no. It's like, are they drinking any kind of alcoholic beverages? Things that appear to be alcoholic? Alcohol's a pretty rudimentary invention if they have alcohol or agriculture and civilization. Everybody figures out that drink spoil shit.
Yeah. She does step away and shortly returns with what appears to be a cylindrical container, very very finely ornamented for this occasion, and she does offer it to you. It does smell quite sweet, and if you were to uncap it and look inside, you do see kind of wrapped up is a little insect of some kind, just floating in the water with a little needle poked through it. This is some of our finest.
It has a little insect inside.
Let's go.
Yes.
I would say this is very close to an earth drink. I believe they call it tequila.
Mezcal specifically.
Oh, well, see, dog nose is heavy liquor. That is good. I prefer an Albamon's red, but this will have to do.
What is an Alpomon red?
A wine from a region of the planet I come from.
Why are you whining?
Oh my god, you are so cute. Wine is what we call the drink from my homeland.
One made from undistilled from fermented fruit.
That sounds... From fruit?
From
Fruit.
Fruit, yes. Have you all not tried pressing fruits into juice?
We do. It must be filtered a lot, though.
This has to be filtered a lot too. If it's not properly filtered, it just turns into well,
The stink
Something
blood
that-
stuff, right?
Some things that would strip the paint off of one of your airships.
actually, it's used. It's the grape must is used a lot in cooking, but it's
Gee.
not really something you drink.
She steps forward and looks to BR and says, "You have the sky ship?"
I fly the skyships. Technically, the Trinity owns them, but
Who is
Yes.
the Trinity?
You have fun with this one. She's gonna like take the bottle or the vial and just pour herself some, and one for Doug as well. 'Cause she's not drinking this alone.
You do notice as you're talking, Doug, I would say you in particular, you do notice that the two up here, the two females, the mother and daughter at least, have taken an interest into listening in.
oh, so Buyer's gonna motion to Dog and it's like, know how me and them are different species, but there's also another species, well, another two species as well. Oh, and our species all met in space, and we started to trade. And
In what space?
Buyer's gonna motion to the sky, like the sky beyond this planet. We call that area space.
There's lots of space up there.
So it's true, you did come from the stars.
Yes, we did.
Which
But-
one?
Well, the
Which
two of
would I
us are
roll to
from
be able to
Seoul.
guess this?
Sorry, what?
So, what would I roll to be able to guess which star would be my home system?
Pointing in the right general direction of the appropriate star.
Roll astronomy.
Yeah, roll astronomy.
In this system, wouldn't it be a systems check? Weirdly enough, because of how things get rolled under stuff.
Could be.
I
Yeah.
would say, I would say system.
Okay. Buyer is gonna look to the sky to see the stars. It's like, can't quite tell from here.
Yeah, even with a few stars beginning to peek out as you've entered kind of the not quite night but twilight hours. And I say hours because this has a little bit slower rotation, not by much, but a little bit. Um, you're not quite sure which ones.
Yes. I'm honestly not sure which ones. I would need to be on one of my sky ships to tell you precisely.
Is it behind one of the moons?
Quite possibly.
The daughters of Meek will continue to. Maybe you show me when they move.
If I can find which one, I will let you know. But yes, the Trinity is a coalition of species who decided to work together to make things better for us. It started with 3, and then humanity came along and they joined as well.
So, as she starts to speak, there's a moment where she seems to think for a minute, but then stops and says, "You came from..." If you are not from here, then what other gods are out there? And I would say, Rindis, you would pick up that the word for gods is very similar to the word for planet.
You know, I did ask Pad about the thread religion. It's all coming up blank to me now, except it's similar to Buddhism, but not quite the same one-to-one. Damn it. And I'm not sure if Fire caught that distinction of gods and planets being close to the same meaning.
She's, I would say Rindis, give me an insight.
I'm so good at these as we saw last time. Wow.
Okay. So you pick up that she is talking about, or the way she's talking indicates that the planet you're on is representative of a kind of deity, kind of like how you would say, kind of like how you would attribute to Mother Earth being a type of deity. But in this case, it kind of matches up because there are 3 moons which are attributed to the number of females that will surround a single male. So their Mother Earth is more like a Father Earth. And she's asking, what kind of place birthed you?
Is that to all 3 of us, or Bjark specifically?
We can, all 3 of you.
Well, honestly, I believe we all came from different areas.
So yeah, I don't think Dog was born on Earth either. I think he was born out in whatever the equivalent of rural Wyoming is.
Could still be Earth, though.
I mean,
literally from Wyoming. Wyoming just hasn't changed in these hundreds of years.
in centuries, Wyoming is still more sparsely populated than Wyoming's still more sparsely populated than the moon.
It could be the moon, Wyoming, or just a habitat called Wyoming on the moon.
Just
Oh, I was thinking, yeah, they just launched themselves into
Wyoming.
space. I'm not from Earth. Wyoming was launched into space centuries ago.
No, they just Wyoming wouldn't have been the state I thought we would shoot into space to be rid of it, but all right.
Maybe they wanted to
Well,
leave.
Wyoming shot itself into space to be rid of Florida.
There you go. I was like, we could have sent better options into space to be done.
It's like, you guys ain't dealing with them, we're out.
Yeah,
Texas
it's
somehow
like,
is still on Earth.
Texas is still on Earth because Texas, nobody wants it.
Texas sank into the Earth.
I love, different countries had different ideas. Most of the rest of the United States left, leaving Texas and Florida behind. Canada just launched Quebec into orbit. It would have made it further, but the hatred of the French kept it there.
Just the hatred, not the fact that we purposely aimed off so we could go somewhere else and not be around us anymore. But I mean, what?
Yeah, it's different ideas indeed, Lee.
Had to make the joke a little more broadly applicable.
It's canon now, Lee, and changed stars. We've launched Quebec into space. You can't stop us. We've already done it. We can't be stopped. We won't be stopped. So the three royals have just stayed where they are. They aren't mingling.
Not yet. A similar caterer, I guess, just brought them food, some food and treats too. They are very. When you look over, they are very apparently listening, but they haven't interrupted yet. There is a subtle gesture from the queen, and in a flicker of her sails, and the servant there catches sight of it and backs up, and she looks at you and says, "So if you are from such a faraway place, you claim to come here simply to observe us."
Well, I will be honest when I say that observing you has become a happy accident. We were on mission to study the planet and study the system, and learning that there was one, that it was habitable and that there was life that we could commingle with. We largely found by mistake. Which is why we have been very careful and very delicate in our approach and how we have been interacting with people. We do not want to overstay our welcome, nor do we wish to be seen as invaders.
And now that you are here, and it is clear that this is home to us, what do you intend to do with our home?
I will be very honest with you when I say I am only a scientist. My job is to study and learn from your people. I will do what I can to keep relations amicable between the Trinity and your planet. I will do what I can to make sure that your sovereignty here stays just that. I make no promises other than what I am capable of doing, which is acting on behalf of your people, for my people, to try to make sure that no harm comes to them.
And what of my people's enemies? It's clear that you have fought them before.
We did. It was
May
necessary. Of course. Please. Your wheelhouse. Of
Our
course.
people frown on slavery. Before I retired as a soldier in the proper army, I became a guard. Many of my operations took place against people who would take slaves. On the whole, we are willing as a culture to stamp out slavery where we can and do find it.
And so you are no stranger to war.
I have fought in several campaigns against insurgents, pirates, slavers. Yes.
Very curious for you. What then do you take from wars?
We take from wars? As in,
Resources? Territory?
not much. When we fight, we usually either fight to liberate people or protect people. Resources, when you have access to all of the stars, just go find one that's not occupied. Water, you go find a cometary debris. Various ores, easier to access just by finding an asteroid belt than actually digging into a world that is worth living on. Hydroponic systems, able to supply food for entire planets without ever having to set foot on one.
Well, I don't know
We don't
what
need to
some of that is.
I don't.
I don't know what these words are, but I'm impressed.
The reality is that we have no need of conquest. We have no need of plunder. And I doubt we ever will.
Interesting. Well, we unfortunately do. From time to time. I did not initiate the war that is going on between my clan and the other, and between my tribe and this new one encroaching upon us. But many of our resources are going to my soldiers. And what resources we need, since we cannot harvest a star, as you say, come from laborers.
Right, my microphone didn't quite pick up that. There was kind of a low grumble from Dog. Because that was not that is not something he liked the sound of.
prefaced with, "Hey, we're not into this thing." Oh, well, we do this thing.
She gestures to. She gestures again, and the one that was speaking to you before steps up again. Look at her band. There, you notice around her neck, there are 4 little ornaments that are slotted in. Any criminals, people who do this service to my tribe, are put to work for a time. And when their service is complete, they are free to go about their work again.
And with that information, Dog's expression softens again.
In times of war, it is prisoners. They take from us as much as we take from them.
So long as the innocent aren't put to it.
We do not go and upend random villages to take as our own. Not like.
She folks.
Not like them.
Even my own people will put prisoners to labor. What is it? He's sitting there he's thinking the words. Often, when someone is a prisoner going through punishment, they're taught a trade, or another means that they may cause no harm to people while making a living. Learning to serve, learning labor.
Who do you call innocent?
Now we're asking the marine philosophy. Oh,
Just said you
boy.
weren't here to think. You're here to look pretty.
Oh God! And now Dog opened his big dumb mouth, and now he is regretting it.
Gave Himbo hard question. Oh no.
He sits there and he thinks. A concise answer, not precisely my wheelhouse. I was no general. But it's the kind of thing you tend to know when you see.
You are a warrior of some form.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Yes.
you call yourself innocent?
No. No, if I were captured in combat, I would not be considered innocent. I would be an enemy combatant.
Well, I think you will be at least somewhat satisfied knowing that we do not upend random villages to claim civilians.
Yes. My cohort's intervention came when we came to the understanding that your attackers capture and enslave children.
During this war, they've taken a number of villages very steadily. I don't know how they are progressing so quickly. but they are difficult to fight when I have a beast at my back as well.
Yes, the Thieves' Souls, wasn't it?
Yes.
From what you hear, those are quite frightening.
I'm sorry, what was that?
So from what we heard, those are quite frightening. Being able to eat one soul? Steal one soul.
The daughter kind of settled beside her, stands up, and she says, and she kind of like waves a hand and says, "That's just a bunch of myth. They don't eat your soul. They're monsters. I still think we need to kill them."
What else do monsters eat if not souls?
Tell me about these things. What do they look like? What do they do? How do they operate?
The queen starts speaking again. Says, "There have been sightings of the carcasses of some of the dead who have been infected by this being. There have been a few sightings of still yet living carcasses infected. Not as prevalent, but it's very obvious it is spreading its influence."
That sounds like this might be a matter for Dr. LaRuccio. Dr. LaRuccio is a xenologist. Extensive knowledge of creatures and ability to analyze them.
It is true.
If you can arrange access to both the carcasses and infected living bodies, there's a good odds we can find out significant detail on what it is you're facing. And depending on what it is, we may be able to offer assistance.
I do not know about giving you access to anyone that we found recently. The daughter speaks up again and says, "Best way to deal with them is just to burn them."
I see.
I believe we would have to find them on our own if we come across them, study it before they are burned.
So what are the conditions of the bodies when you find them?
The reports that have come in have been described as various levels of decay, with this creature's offspring rooting these bodies to the ground. But wherever they are coming from, it's mind. And she reaches up and kind of like taps her head, or soul, whatever, is clearly very matured. The daughter speaks up again and says, "They're only as smart as the things they take."
Wait. So it's only as smart as the things they take. Okay.
So if it takes a beast, it's only as smart as a beast. But if it takes someone like you or I, you become as smart as we are.
Only if you're stupid enough to get caught by them.
My dear, I do not think this would be an epidemic if intelligence were a factor in its spread. those who are cocky often end up being caught just as quickly as the stupid.
I see. So the offspring.
There's a moment where the daughter like kind of shoots a look towards you, Rendis, and looks like she's ready to step forward before there's a little flicker in the queen's sails and she quiets up.
So the offspring. What kind of creatures are they? Describe them, what you know, if you may.
They are they're like worms and roots.
Do they move around?
Oh yes. But they are less likely to move when they do not have a host.
Okay. And when you describe them as roots, are they just stretched all throughout the body? Or do they root the body to the ground?
Both, depending on the stage of its offspring.
Do you know which stage is the earlier stage?
The earlier stage, they are more mobile.
Do they exercise any degree of control over their hosts?
Quite a bit, in fact.
Okay. God, this is now starting to sound like the flesh that hates.
Yeah, I'm not thrilled by that prospect. One last question from me. Where do you know where the last reported sightings of them are? It might be the best place for us to start looking.
That you want to look is interesting enough as it is.
I am a researcher. It's my job to understand so that I can help people.
Moreover, creatures such as the one you've described can pose threats much broader if they can, for example, make it off whatever world they respond on.
You are worried about them infecting your gods.
Quite possibly. Other ships, people who come here. We already have confirmation that there are at least 2 other parties in the star system. And we need to understand what these things are, what they're capable of. And perhaps whether...
She holds up a hand. Wait one moment. What other parties?
Dr. Rindis, Dr. LaRusha, would you like to field this one?
It has been brought to our attentions that there are 2 other factions that have been operating within the system outside of this planet, as well as at least one of them that has been operating planet-side on Ziskatis. They are interested in maintaining trade relations with your people. They do not have hostile intent. The other faction, however, it is believed that they do not have peaceful intentions. We have requested our warriors assemble and arrive here within the system to keep them from bringing any harm to yours, but we fear it may not be in time, and it would be prudent that you are made aware of it. I do not expect it is something that could be resisted easily, but we would at least be able to commit what we could towards helping if it came to that.
You see the the sails on this queen here kind of like flare up a bit. She's become much more alert, I guess. Like, like, kind of like the hairs would be standing on end, that kind of thing of trying to make herself look bigger. But she says, I am already fighting a battle on two fronts.
I understand, which is why it would be important for our people to be able to muster as quickly as possible so we could try to alleviate some of the strain.
Our people, a greater portion of our forces are already on their way. We have already been promised reinforcements, and they should be adequate to deal with any threat that these insurgents pose. He taps a couple of the medals on his dress uniform. I received these for service against their ilk. I can say they can be beaten quite readily. Already in system, using a much smaller and less capable ship, I have destroyed one of theirs.
He is a very skilled warrior. Him alone could probably fend off a dozen of theirs.
Depends on the ground.
Shh, I am fluffing you up for a queen.
But anyway.
She does step forward a bit, and as she does, the Rindis, all the warriors around that have been watching are immediately more attentive. Even her daughter kind of like moves forward, like she's ready to protect. Well, I'm afraid I am stretched too thin as it is. I will not be able to help defend my home from them until this war is over.
In all truth, it's our hope that once we've dealt with them, we may be able to help you. At least against these thieves of souls. It will be up to the leadership of any relief, whether or not they help with any of the other problems. But I believe that anything that preys on sentience as a matter of course is something that my people would be more than willing to assist you against.
And what would you ask in return?
Well, to be honest, I think the answer is nothing. That would not be for me to negotiate. I am just a sergeant. But speaking from past history, it's just our job.
The daughter kind of like looks to you and kind of like leans over and to her mother and says, "That sounds way too good to be truth." And the queen, Ralta, does seem to give a slight acquiescence and says, "While you appear amiable enough, I have a difficult time believing that all of your kin would feel the same way."
I would agree,
There are
which
many
is why
who do not.
Yes, I would agree, which is why I prefaced by saying that I cannot speak for my kin, but it is my job to provide a convincing argument for them not to act against your well-being.
How many soldiers do you aim to take with you on your investigation?
Just gonna look to Dog again. That's his forte.
Well, on our initial wave of investigation, there will be myself,
my two compatriots here, as well as, hopefully, a couple of volunteers among the synths and as they do not have any organic parts for the critters to eat.
Oh, you just introduced robots to this poor woman. Let's go.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, no, we just they think people made of synths, people made of metal and other substances of the earth rather than the flesh.
Mhm.
She cants her head a little bit and is like, sorcery then.
Technology.
That is what I said.
I suppose, what's that phrase from the old sci-fi novels? Any technology sufficiently advanced is indistinguishable from magic?
Yep, that's the one.
It's the kind of thing your people will understand just fine in time.
I do not have the luxury of time, unfortunately.
I may be able to buy you some. I'll do what I can.
We will see. If you intend to take a number of soldiers, then I cannot spare much. But
Oh.
this is a problem my people have to deal with as well.
Perhaps you may wish instead to send along observers to learn from what we are able to do and instruct us from what your people have learned. Rather than having to dedicate your own soldiers to such a mission, we can dedicate ours. Most of mine currently are basically guarding a ship in orbit. We may also have other... They're not exactly soldiers, they're guards, but many of them were soldiers before retiring. Our people have a distinction between guard, security, and soldier.
Well, I will send my eldest and 2 others of mine to observe.
And to
Good.
Dice? Question mark to make her to fluff the princess up a little bit now.
There, go ahead and give me a whatever charm roll is.
Yeah, let's go. And of course, Charmer in there because I am communicating directly to this one person. It's a +3. Here we go. Wow, are you? You know what? It's fine.
It's fine. Are you gonna push?
I'm gonna push because Jesus Christ.
That many dice? For the one?
It's like.
Oh, you really want to make a good impression there. I mean,
Alright,
it goes with the doctrine.
What's the edge? Oh, has any edge gone down in the downtime? We got to establish that, like whenever there's long.
We gotta be better
Sure,
about
you all
doing
can drop
that.
your edge by 1.
Okay.
Okay,
so
no edge.
I'm gonna put it back to 2 then. Alright, communicate. Another 3 on there for the charmer.
Okay, so you get 2.
You know what? 2 is fine. 2 is fine. Why even have this talent if it doesn't do anything?
I love that the 3 dice that are for Charmer are the ones that never show up with successes. It's just...
It's fantastic. I love it. Love everything about it.
And then you occasionally have, like, the one time Dog has ever rolled a roll to be charming, just all 3 of his dice popped up with successes. It's just... He's just got to. It's like my friend Jeremy. He rolls terribly on anything he's good at, but if you give him only 1d6, it will be a 6 every time.
What would you like to spend your twist on?
Oh God, I should probably open that up so I can tell you.
I should too.
Where did I
See,
change?
test and roll.
Where did my change?
Crap.
tabs go?
Oh, I forgot I haven't downloaded it on this computer. Shit.
Need a link again?
I need to look again.
Ready?
I'm still waiting on my pre-order copy.
So, some available twists to you would be +1 modifier on a future test of the same or related nature.
Well, I know that's worthless.
Give the success to another creature attempting the same test. Gain additional information. I don't think that really works here. Look good doing it.
I want to look good doing it. Yeah.
Complete the
I
task
want
as-
to look very appealing. There's going to be some eyebrow wiggles, and I know she's what the fuck that means.
No.
What's it that the kids say to get the start rizzing her up?
Yeah,
Is that it?
I start rizzing her up with some very suggestive eyebrows, and since they don't have eyebrows, she's like, I don't know what that is, but your front sails there are going haywire, and I love it.
Dr. Rizzis, the Mauricio.
Yeah, exactly.
Dr. Rindis Larizio. There we go.
Oh, that one's so much better. I was gonna say Rizdis, but I like Larizio.
Okay. So she looks like she's the eldest daughter looks like she's ready to protest this because and you would pick up too that there is a small blade at her side, even if she's not carrying full gear right now. And judging by her appearance, she is probably as much of a aspiring fighter as her mother once was, judging by her mother's appearance, who has a number of little scars peppered here and there. Even if she is a bit older now. But she looks like she's ready to protest because there's an entire war going on. But when you start talking her up, she seems to relax a little bit, and her mother looks to her and says, "Our people must know that we were involved in protecting them. Make sure you are involved." And she kind of relaxes a little bit, and her sail flickers from red to blue, and she agrees.
Well, this is good.
For now, you may all feast. I must also come up with plans for my youngest son, since he is soon to be of proper age.
Wonderful. Good. Well, I suppose thank you for your hospitality and for the feast. You will know where to find us if you have any further questions.
Is there anything else you all would like to do during this time?
Is there music playing?
Probably.
Do people dance?
You would notice that some of the Mictions over here are indeed dancing. You would notice that they are particularly dancing around the male that is over there.
Are we doing mating dances now?
You would also notice that each of the females has a small blade similar to the one that the eldest daughter has.
Is Helios with us?
Yes, she is. I am here.
I should.
Hiya, how are you?
Celios. I
Yes.
notice those women are dancing around the male. Is this some sort of ritual or something?
Oh. Kind of. I mean, looking at them, they've probably already had their ceremony. Those three would be. Excuse me, sorry about that. Just have to whistle from time to time. Those three would be his protectors.
Oh. So they keep him safe when he's out, then.
They keep him. They would be the ones to remain by his side. They must protect him to make sure that he may give them and perhaps others more offspring.
Okay. And that is why they're dancing around and with him?
Or near him. When her youngest son, now that he is old enough, he will have his own ceremony where he will select a number of women to be his protectors as well, and they will have the distinct honor of keeping him safe, as well as being his primary partners.
Oh. That is interesting.
They are more or less his guardians. Ceremonies tend to be a little different from here and there, but it is often said that the most blessed ceremonies is when the eye of the goddesses are watching.
The Eye of the Goddesses?
Oh yes, it's a very rare event when all three of Mikto's moons line up.
Oh, that is...
The tides rise very high, and there is a wild celebration that is held. It's quite a sight.
Maybe we'll be lucky enough to see that.
When would the next one be? Did they happen in cycles?
Yes, they do happen in cycles. I do not know exactly, but it's been the last time I saw one. I was a bit younger.
Our my mother would know. I do not remember the exact time.
Well, we would have to ask then.
We'll certainly do that when we return to the village.
Yes.
Yes, it would be an exciting time. And now that I am old enough, while it is unlikely, perhaps I might get a chance to try my hand at becoming a guardian, although I'm not much of a fighter.
You are interested in becoming a guardian.
I would have to have a. I would have to be. I would have to have a very useful skill. If I am only an average fighter.
I would feel like hunting these parasites might give me some accolades amongst the people.
You're asking me to join you to kill the demon.
You're already here, are you not? You could also hang back and be helpful when Swinzelton comes if you feel brave enough to try such a thing. I am not suggesting you endanger yourself.
Give me
Another communicate? Well, I am definitely being charming, and watch, this will be the one where it's 20 successes, because it's... Yeah, see? No, it's fine. It's fine. Who cares?
It's
Why not?
the least pressing of them.
Yeah, just trying to help this girl achieve her greatness. It's fine.
So you talk her up a little bit and invite her to come along and says, yes, I will join you. I will help however I can, and I will most certainly be safe since you all will be there.
Yeah, totally, of course. Nothing bad ever happens to any of us. Dog is our best security advisor, and we will make sure that stay safe.
Miyoshi was very pleased with Dog.
This
Bet she
sly
was.
little smile.
Exactly. Ringus and VR just exchange look is like, yeah, that's what we heard.
And the dog, just standing behind a half step behind a little sly smile. The thought that's going through his head more ways than one.
It is still a little strange that you have males who are warriors, but you said you have many more males.
Well, it's, technically speaking, in the human populations, this is not true. It's about a 51-49% split towards females. But they like to think they are more in charge.
That is
Actually,
a lot more
in
than
the,
we have.
Yes.
In the military, there actually are slightly more men than women. Still, not that many anymore. There was a time in our past when it was all men.
That's very weird.
Not as weird as you'd think. The reasoning was it's different.
Let's see. In essence, in our species, because we have an even split of males versus females, and the original reasoning, given my understanding from the Stone Age, let's say it's a little dated now, but as males cannot feed babies,
Males are therefore more expendable, as therefore you send the male off to do the job that will probably get him killed.
A good analogy, another one could be if you have a village of 10 women, you really only need one man to keep the population up, correct? In a population where there are many men and not so many women to go around for all of them, it is, as Doug said, more expected for them to be the ones who are doing the fighting and the dangerous work. Because you see women who are caring for children, tending to village needs, then they are the ones who are staying behind.
It's the other way around here.
It's a fascinating concept. I have been meaning to ask, do your women fight all the way up until their last... I almost said trimester, but I have no idea what their birthing cycle would be like, so trimester wouldn't be the right word. Until the end of their pregnancy cycle.
When it becomes apparent that one of us are with child, then not really. They are protected just as much as our males, but they are still expected they are still expected to remain fit and active.
Alright, I'm making this canon now as well. The elite vanguard for this species is just a bunch of angry pregnant women. Send the Berserk squad.
Just... Oh, God. That's terrifying.
I know, just so full of rage and unnatural strength. Wow, now that image is out of my head.
God.
Well, for the time being, we can at least relax here for the hospitality that we've been given.
Of course, I would absolutely love some more of this. And she just shakes the decanter with the poor bug inside.
It is. Go ahead and give me a.
Yeah, time to start rolling for drinking. Let's go.
This will be an endurance.
Haha, joke's on you. I'm pretty stocked up on that too. There it is, 1.
Okay. You are tipsy, not outright wasted, but that stuff is strong, and if you keep going, you most certainly will be.
Well, I did ask for more.
It's just, it's one of those. Dog occasionally has one, but also just I love that Rindus's entire endurance role is just Dog's resilience.
Listen, her job is very endurance heavy.
That's fair.
But it's just his endurance is 8, his resilience is 5. He's a little tough. Yeah. But admittedly, he's also a Marine.
Yeah, it's fair.
Cilios does look at the drink and says, "You have not eaten your
Oh, Brindis is absolutely eating too.
No, but the bug at the bottom.
Oh, do I have to eat this?
You don't have to. That's the best part.
Just like Mezcal, it's traditional.
Well, when in Luna, do as the Lunarians do, and she'll take it and eat it.
It is.
Dog looks over at buyer. 5 credit. 5 credit says it's hallucinogenic.
Oh God, I hope so. I shouldn't be this excited for harm.
10 Sage takes her clothes off before the end of it.
Roll me a
That's
D100.
a sucker's move. Why would you do that?
Roll me a D100. Roll me a D100. Roll high.
Roll high. 86.
Look, you don't
Okay.
have to get Dr. Rindis to hallucinate for her clothes to be off by the end of the night. You just have to get somebody who's willing. That's a, you know.
It's all it takes.
Is anybody else doing anything else?
I mean, dog's he's eaten food, he's had a few drinks, but he's not like he's in the mindset of he is here largely as well, not precisely as a bodyguard, because he is not worried about the security in this situation. More as a, I mean, to be honest, at this time, he's worried that he's basically going to be a babysitter. What is he? He's the equivalent of a designated driver. What is it? All right, I have to keep track of where Dr. LaRuccio goes. Make sure Dr. LaRuccio makes it back to her sleeping quarters, or someone's sleeping quarters, anyways. Make sure nobody ends up off vomiting in the shrubberies, because I think that would be a faux pas.
Yeah, you are responsible for holding her hair back when she inevitably vomits.
It's the one of just conveniently he spent so much time having to go and retrieve his troopers out of various dive bars when it was time for leave to end. This is not new to him.
All right. And Buyer, anything for you?
Fire will probably drink a little bit and just talk with people.
I would also
Nothing
like an
too
endurance. I would also like an endurance from you as well.
I feel like I should still roll dog's endurance just in case.
I would.
So, Fire has toxin tolerant. I automatically get 1 success.
Nice.
Okay.
I can also hold drink
So
3
there-
times as much liquor as a human can, too.
Of course they can.
Okay. You eat the bug.
Yeah, let's eat the bug.
Okay. You rolled high enough that yes, it is hallucinogenic. So for the two of you who have eaten the bug, and have plans to get inebriated, you do. It takes you both about the same time, same amount of time. When after a while, the combination of the liqueur and the whatever toxins are in that bug there, which has a very strangely, like after getting through the crunch, it has a strangely flavorful. It's kind of like fruity marshmallow.
Oh.
I was expecting it to be like long pepper for some reason. Fruity marshmallow. Okay.
Yeah, it's like fruity marshmallow. Fruity, probably from absorbing a lot of the drink. But it is an interesting flavor. Not terrible by any means. Definitely different. That being said, when you do start feeling the effects of the bug, you notice the colors on the sails, and you get the idea that for a species that communicates in large part with color, it is quite enjoyable, and even the little macroorganism floating around is fun to look at, and when it gets close enough, some of them go up and they're playing and they manage to pop it. That looks fun. You feel good. And is there anything in particular you want to hallucinate?
Oh dear.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Ren first because they eat the bug first.
Oh, I feel like it is definitely going to be. You're gonna be seeing and tasting colors, and I feel like everything's going to be like Funhouse mirror distorted. Ah,
I have a sneaking suspicion that because things are distorted like that, occasionally dogs are just going to end up having to reach over and just correct a stumble.
oh, for sure.
Oh, and you do notice that there are some of the other Mixians who are indeed inebriated.
Mm.
The the at least most of the ones that are this one's guardian are not. One or two of them might be, but there is going to be at least some that remain sober for good reason.
I think Fire's sense of touch is just gonna be like way more sensitive at the moment, and also the whole like someone's turning the contrast up and down randomly at certain colors. So they'll just be like reaching out, just touching something, or like just reach over, just kind of pet the doctor's hair, like it's so silky.
Question for Dog. What do you do when they start wandering off?
Dog just when the two of them are they wandering off together because there's hair being pet at the moment, or are they wandering off
At some point?
directions?
What happens when
He's
when
just
the
doing.
party starts winding down and everybody's kind of like wandering back?
He's
into
basically
the-
he's keeping an eye on our on the hosts. The person who we came with, I have forgotten her name. Dog probably remembers it, but Dog's memory is better than mine. And he's mostly trying to keep, just like whenever Rindis or Buyer start to wander off without, like if someone has them in tow, that's fine. But if they don't have someone in tow, just
Oh, I should do one
steer
too.
them back toward each other.
Just corral
Honestly-
the women. Oh,
Honestly, at this point, I wouldn't be terribly surprised if they wandered off with each other with a similar thought in mind, because there's been a lot of hair being touched.
Mhm.
Oh,
well,
they definitely are making out at some point.
yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
At-
And,
at-
and,
at some
and Dog's
point-
like, okay, that makes the job easy. I'll note where both of them are.
Fire has fallen in the water at some point.
And there's just the dog reaches down, grabs Pyre, pulls out, sits back on her feet. It's just this. I imagine the fact that show of strength from a male there has caught quite a bit of attention.
You're so desirable. You can lift this whole woman.
on
His
that,
hole is above
yeah,
6 feet.
On that note, let's take a quick 5 to 10 minute break and meet back up here. We are a little bit past halfway point, but we will get moving to the next part of the story after this.
Alrighty, everyone, stay tuned. We'll be back shortly.
All right, muting microphone. I'll be right back.
Alrighty.
I returned. Oh. We have a coffee sponsorship? Man, once I get paid.
I have returned.
Just saw in the chat we have a coffee sponsorship. Once I get paid, that is exciting news.
Oh yeah, grind coffee cup.
Yep. I recently got into my sister bought me some really nice coffee for Christmas. Because I'm not usually big on coffee. Turns out I
Yeah.
actually am. I'm just only big on really good coffee. And before that, it's still weird. So I now have my favorite coffee. My previous favorite coffee, it was really weird because it was the coffee we had in the Walmart break room. It was actually really good. But that was largely because the guy who was maintaining the machine, well, Walmart was his retirement job. He was previously one of the lead engineers at Procter & Gamble back when they still did coffee. So he maintained the machine flawlessly. It was always
Damn.
clean. It got cleaned thoroughly twice a day. He did the exact, he taught me, so it was either me or him would clean the machine every day. Because the 2 days a week he wasn't working, I was, and the 2 days a week I wasn't working, he was, and we made sure that thing was really clean and it was actually a really good coffee machine. And the coffee itself was it was a very simple blend. It wasn't very complex, but it was just actually good coffee. So it was very simple but very good. And it was the first coffee I ever actually enjoyed drinking with just sugar in it, because half the time the creamer was out. And then you have the Scandinavian blend my sister got me that it's the first coffee I just enjoyed drinking straight black. Actually, no, it's not the first. There was another I had before, but I only ever had it once. I still prefer it with a little cream and sugar, because the cream reacts with it in a way that really brings out some of the complex flavors in it.
Yeah, I'm not a coffee drinker at all.
I wasn't until people started getting me fancy coffees with complex flavors and details on which notes to look for, and stopped trying to give me ones that supposedly had caramel notes, because there's nothing quite like burnt caramel for ruining something for me. If the caramel tastes burnt, it's gross. If it doesn't taste burnt, then I really like caramel flavored things. So when you put caramel in coffee, that makes me very happy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, burnt sugar and caramel just kind of kills the thing.
Yeah. Usually I'm more of a tea drinker.
I do drink tea.
I have been trying to pare it down because a lot of it's getting old and I just want to get to it before it loses its flavor. There was an entire shelf in my pantry dedicated to nothing but tea. It is now down to half of a shelf. It is still stacked from the bottom to the top of the shelf, so I've still got roughly 5 cubic feet of tea.
That's a lot of tea.
Yep, a lot of it's herbal teas, so I can actually drink them closer to bedtime. But some of them are are full board caffeinated. I have different varieties of tea. I'm highly excitable when it comes to my tea. I like to try new teas, new blends of tea, new kinds of tea. I also like to go to the old favorites. Admittedly, my standby. If I don't know what else, if I don't have any strong feeling about what tea I want to get, I'll go for an Earl Grey.
Yeah, mine tends to be a mint tea with honey.
I also do go for spearmint teas a lot. as preference as far as different kinds of mint go. Though I do like to look for wintergreen and herbal blends.
Nice.
I am not it really depends on which kind of tea as to what kind of sweetener I'll put into it, because sometimes, you know, a little bit of honey's there, but honey has a very distinct flavor other than that's not just sweet. And there are some teas that it just doesn't jive with. There are some teas that it jives super well with, and they bring out the best notes in each other. I have different honeys that I'd use for different teas, or I had different honeys that I'd use for different teas. Money's been tight for a while, so it's just been plain white sugar for a few months. But back when I do have money again, I'll be having my different kinds of honey, my different kinds of sugar.
Yeah, because it tastes different depending what the area it's from.
Yeah. And it's the big thing that really defines sugar is how much of the essentially molasses is left in it. So most of the time I just use white sugar, but there are some that do well with turbinado sugar, or even a very select few teas that are usually like overwhelmingly powerful that actually do well sweetened with a little bit of molasses. But never blackstrap molasses. Almost no. Actually, I have encountered a tea that was strong enough that it might have gone well with blackstrap molasses, but for the most part, most people are not going to go in for anything with blackstrap molasses because sulfur is not most people's thing. And it would be a teeny tiny amount. But and it's all about make the right thing to the right thing to the right thing. I approach tea similarly to how my brother-in-law, who's a sommelier, approaches wine. I actually use skills he taught me when it comes to, picking out smells and flavors in wine for doing the same with tea and coffee. It makes it a much more enjoyable experience for me because I'm like, it's that little busy brain in the back of my, tea. The nice thing about it is I can either turn my brain off or turn my brain on, and just to any degree that I want. Whereas with wine, I have to turn the brain all the way on to get the most out of it. Although it is one that a lot of people, really, I also don't get to drink much anymore with all the gut issues, so wine is usually off the table.
Gut issues are a pain. My roommate's been having some of those.
Mm-hmm. Turns out that string of infections that I had, back in, started in October, just has resulted in bringing out the family tendency toward IBS. I just have full-blown IBS.
Damn.
And I just will forever. Combined with, I was finally given the words for it, is, I'd hit the point of autistic meltdown, apparently, in the process. And it's just like the guy's ticking off the symptoms, and I'm like, yep, yep, all of them.
Damn.
So when I made the decision that while I'm recovering, I was going to go back to an old job where I feel welcome, I know what's going on. Yeah, sure, I could probably earn bigger money elsewhere, but long-term prospects, I actually have them. And it's a nice, calm thing with nice, calm people.
It's good you can go a place where you feel welcome.
Yeah. And it's also one of those, admittedly, I'm being thrust into something of a position of leadership because I was like, I'm perfectly willing to work open to close on weekends. And they needed a person to work open to close weekend dish lead, which, will pay better once they actually put me in the position. And I know that Aaron will once he's able to get the position created, because he's actually like, he was my first. Oh, that is a pretty piece of clothing.
Right?
Yeah. But yeah, he was actually my first supervisor when I worked there.
I saw that floating around Twitter as well. Yeah, that's cute. Yeah, that's probably what the dancer outfits look like. I imagine they got to be swimmable too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, hon, are you ready to come back? You is yes. You are yes. Okay. Well, that being said, back to the scene. Back to the hoocher.
So, the evening goes by, and
You're muted.
You have to push to talk.
my microphone was muted. So the evening goes by, and you all have a good evening. Everyone everyone parties, gets drunk, enjoys the feast. Um, when you wake up the next day, Fire and Rentis, both of you are trying to think of the right word.
I'm hoping it's not hungover, but it's quite possibly that.
Could very well be hungover.
Mildly You're a bit hungover, yes. But you wake up not just in each other's arms, but surrounded by a few more of the locals. You don't remember inviting them in, but they invited themselves in.
All puffy pile.
Yeah.
And Dog is, of course, he's, by the time they're stirring in the morning, Dog's, he's out in whatever ante room. Evidently, he posted himself up on the couch or something. He's just out there. It's like, all right. So this is 1, I don't know, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's about on par. God, at some point I'm gonna have to link you guys to one of these things that's a lot of the inspiration for Dog.
But you all start to come to. Some of the others that have come in to the room at some point still seem inclined to continue their sleep.
Brindis hasn't had to climb over unconscious bodies for quite some time. It's going to casually gather up her clothes and make sure Yara's not leaving anything behind.
Yeah, Buyer will double check.
Fire.
Buyer, BR. It works.
BR. Yeah, no, we've been alternating back and forth all night, and I'm trying to catch which one is the right one. Sorry.
Does do the big stretch when they walk out of the room. So I think I remember most of the night.
Dog has a little just a little book in hand. He holds up like a like a sock just toward one of them. I believe this one's yours.
Thank you. I can honestly say I think I lost track of things after we were teaching Zen beer pong.
Yeah, you still haven't explained to me why it's Pong. I don't get that.
So, and he folds that he marks his little page in whatever his little book was. It's just.
I thought that was just the sound that it makes.
Yep, that is exactly what it is.
Cerlius looks proud of herself.
Yeah, he's here. This.
It started as traditionally, it uses the ball from a game called ping pong, which refers to the noise the ball makes as it is launched over a small table with a teeny tiny net in the middle. Where one strikes the ball as it goes back and forth with paddles.
Okay.
It was a popular barracks pastime.
In the university pastime for many years.
Really anywhere that has gravity. It's cheap
Mhm.
and easy to set up.
Although zero-G beer pong does sound fascinating.
Mostly you'd end up having to actually bounce it, because there's no gravity, you'd have to actually be bouncing it off the ceiling into that, which is a different game entirely.
Oh my goodness, could you imagine it would be like traditional pong?
I have done that before. But done something similar to that.
You know what we should have taught them how to play? Crossfire.
Crossfire?
You'll get caught up in the... Yeah, and now she goes into a lengthy explanation of Crossfire for Fire now.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with that either.
Oh, don't worry, I've got the commercial queued up for you.
Yeah, Fire's kind of spaceborne, so the games that all involve gravity are kind of bit outside her wheelhouse, and especially like human
I did have it
games.
queued up, but apparently YouTube doesn't want to do my search engine.
How dare YouTube?
I know.
God, Crossfire and Zero-G would be a night.
That would be such a clean up hassle.
Which, yeah. And that is precisely why due to that cleanup hassle, and what happens when you get things like various game pieces stuck in intake vents is probably why Crossfire and Zero-G has been
Crossfire is
nicked.
banned across the Trinity.
I don't even think it would work because
It
you
really
can't put anything in it.
Yeah.
But they could do like a full arena version of Crossfire where it's just folks in suits and they're trying to shoot the little thing in the middle to the goal and shooting each other.
Okay, I don't watch
I'm
that.
pretty sure that's called a. I'm pretty sure that's called a zero-G combat training exercise.
Basically, yeah. And so it's more or less the same.
My ass
I just
still
imagine
hurts thinking of the
Crossfire
welts.
being brought up to like a full-on sport where everybody stays behind a line and has to like fire little pellet guns to get the thing to move to the other side. Collect the pellets that roll onto your side.
Okay, so now I'm picturing something mixed between Crocono and Hungry Hungry Hippos.
Yeah, it is very much a hungry hippo.
That is a wonderful explanation of something. And it's. Alright. So yes, we have scooped our party members up off the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a place to wash up?
There is plenty of places. You do hear the sound of moving water.
She's not going to take a bath in the fountain. She's not intoxicated still.
Okay. Yeah. There is a basin there that you can wash yourself with. If you were so inclined to look around a bit or ask, you would probably be directed to a place that has water in motion with a drain.
All right. Well, she is going to rinse out and clean off and put herself back together, essentially.
Okay.
Fire will do the same.
Dog already did a
So-
little basically helmet bath earlier.
Did we set a time we're going to meet with the Queen's daughter?
I believe the implication was that we would be sent for.
Yeah, we don't really.
Okay.
We don't really expect tell them when to show us it. They will summon us when they are ready.
And like for convenience, a guard does come by to escort you.
Oh,
And
shit, you guys are still here? You were expecting an hour ago.
and you are escorted to another one of these underground chambers, where the daughter is kind of is sitting on what might be or she's sitting on what appears to be a cushion, and then in the center is just a carved out in the center of this room is a carved out display of what the local surrounding is, and you all wouldn't recognize it because you've seen a lot of it from orbit. While it's not perfectly accurate, they do have a very good grasp on what their continent looks like. But she's overlooking it and talking to a couple of the other armed warriors there as well. When you all are brought there, she glances up and turns towards all of you, her sail extending as she looks first to the group of you. So, if we are going to be doing this, and she gestures to the carving, I can pinpoint, or I can show you where the sightings were brought to our attention. And just so I understand, Rusio Thul Crowley.
Close enough, I suppose.
Crowley or dog, either works.
I am Tamya Tasra. You can call me Tasra.
Tasha.
Tashra.
Fire throw works for me. Is that correct spelling of her name?
Push to talk.
The S and the H switch places, but more or less.
Awesome. Okay.
Thank you.
But I forgot I was still using a cog with the blast wave profile image.
My mother will be focusing on the war at hand, but I would like to complete this task as quickly as possible. How soon can you have your soldiers?
I already praised the captain of our intentions last night. We can likely, although it would be wisest to have it some distance outside of the city as to not panic the locals, we can have a shuttle set touchdown.
Your
Pretty
captain, no such captain has made their appearance here.
He pulls out the radio. This device lets me talk to people on, well, anyone else with a similar such item, no matter over long distances. It utilizes radio waves, which are like light, but you can't see it.
Show me this.
Alright, well, I do have to report that we are preparing to set off already. Where around the city would be a good rendezvous point?
She looks to the map and points to one of the exiting streams near what is likely a forested area.
We will need a little.
Here.
We do need a fair amount of open space for the shuttle to land.
There's plenty of river here for most vessels.
It. While they can float, they do better actually landing on solid ground. Do you know what?
Sirius speaks up and says, "They have flying sky ships. I have seen them." And Tasra will kind of point to a broader area. Will this location do?
Relatively
There's
flat,
best
open.
foliage.
That should work. All right. Coordinates, that would be relative to our position. And he consults against his own information. All right. He pulls up this. Makes the appropriate. He pulls up the radios. Makes appropriate. Says the appropriate call signs. Requesting shuttle to. This is Douglas Crowley requesting shuttle and aforementioned troopers, preferably as said synths, due to the potential nature of the threat we are investigating. As I apprised the captain last night to these coordinates, he rattles them off. He rattles off the appropriate time to get there from, once we get to our craft.
And as you do, there is a moment before a reply comes in. Copy that. We'll have them prepped and on their way within the hour.
Thank you.
And at that moment, while she may not have understood what was being said, she does reach out to try and grab the device. Do you let her take it?
It's a ruggedized sucker intended to survive basically anything that short of being shot. So yeah, sure. It's not gonna break it.
So she grabs it and she looks it over and says, "So you just spoke with someone who is not here."
Mm-hmm. I did. The person I just spoke with is well, he checks his information again. And he points upward at an angle. About that direction right now. Somewhere. Kind of gestures in a rough. I'm not an artillerist, so I couldn't exactly tell you the exact trajectory.
How do we craft these devices?
I have no idea.
It's not in our forte, unfortunately.
No.
We have engineers.
That is the kind of thing you'd need to ask. Let's see. Well, to get a comprehensive explanation, you'd need to ask at least 6 engineers, a physicist, a materials scientist, a chemist, and they'd have to all be pretty specialized. You might have to ask more than one of each different kind. Yeah. To run these ships, it takes particularly large teams, even not factoring in building them, because there's so much of a degree of specialization. There are people who spend their entire careers doing nothing but working on the power systems for those ships.
Dog, I believe she's talking about the radio.
Oh,
No.
the radio. Okay.
Same
So
I will not
these-
say I will not say no to the knowledge on how to build these ships.
Same answer.
Okay.
No idea. Talk
So-
to an engineer.
Dog actually knows how to make. This is something that he learned. I think he would know how to make a trench radio. Now, I can't show you how to make something to send, but I can show you how to make a simple thing to receive.
And it's, pulls out. Because a trench radio is just made from a piece of graphite, a piece of metal, and an acidic solution. So, if you have some
Can
vinegar or...
Can these tools be used to communicate with my people here?
Actually, possibly. The sound quality would be terrible, and the range isn't as good as it could be, but this sucker has enough long range to be able to punch through any limitations on that. So yeah, we could set one up.
Where is the color on it?
The what?
The color. How does it light up?
My goodness,
It
we could
doesn't.
Probably. However, hold on. We could probably figure out a way to add some
Well-
lights for inflection.
What we could do, the other thing that we could do that would probably be easier, is have them bring down a spare radio to drop off with your people so we can keep them apprised of what we find out and communicate with them more readily. It would facilitate diplomatic communications. I'm pretty sure nobody's going to object to that.
We would, like they say, not have the colors light up on a basic model of it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Their communication is quite limited.
We could also see about, admittedly, it's... Let's see. Dog's thinking, could get them the model with video on it. I don't carry one of those around, but I know we have them on the ship.
We could request it, yes.
Yeah. Admittedly, that would mostly be useful for them talking to the ship. But that way, we can facilitate communication, coordination against what is possibly a threat that is much larger in scale than a single world and some possible, possible human supremacist insurgents.
Which one of the species did you say you were again?
Human.
So it is your people.
Species, not my people. They're no more our people than those invading you or yours.
Another tribe.
Too many. We have so damn many. Of course, that happens the more you get spread out.
It is why my grandmother sought to unify most of this continent.
Honestly, rather impressed. Let's see. Humanity didn't manage to unify something nearly the size of a continent.
She did not succeed, unfortunately.
It's still aspirational goals. Every time humanity has tried to unite, continents worth, millions have died.
That is the way of things.
And they all go, that is the way of things.
Yeah, and it is the greatest unity that humanity's ever seen came without,
I would like your people to teach my people how to make these things, and she holds up the radio. And perhaps later, how to make some of our ships fly.
Oh, Vi reaches into their bag. I have plans for that already. Just pulls out
Good.
the sheet paper. Yeah, so I was talking with Cilio's people about actually making gliders, which is really the first step you really need to do into making actual flying machines. Is they did mention that they already had parachutes, which is a really good thing, because you're going to crash a lot. Even with help, you're going to crash a lot.
For those who must trek higher in the trees, it's useful, but once it catches, they have a way to climb up and descend more safely.
Mm-hmm. And might even be able to help you make some more, not quite like our boat, but similar things to it. And so these travel on water, you'll be able to carry more than what the... Oh, what's that really tall animal with the 4 legs and long neck?
Sorry, one more time.
So that really tall animal with the 4 legs and the long neck that had the coral growing out of it.
Oh, goodness.
Glitterbacks.
Yeah.
Yes, glitterbacks. Mind you, certain terrains would still be much better with them than even with our own boat.
Well, let us at least go meet your people.
Yes, of course, of course. So, off towards the landing site then?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
What did I do?
What did you do?
No, never mind. Seems right. Okay. So you all head out to this location. As you're traveling through the area, in the direction you're heading, you follow along the mountainside and are brought down to a location where you pass through some of the lower parts of the city. And similar to the other side, there's a number of these fabric bridges that arc back and forth and at different layers and levels, giving it a very interesting, surreal kind of vibe as the light isn't beating down with the from the sun, or from the star, I guess I should say. But you would notice. Actually, everybody, give me a scrutiny. I want to see how much we know.
Screwed.
Screw.
That's fun.
I It's funny is from this game, just Scroot has leaked out into my.
I am going to push. Has Edge
No,
gone down?
you can't.
Yeah, not with an edge.
Never mind. Has the edge gone down? I should have asked before I rolled.
Yes, all of your edge should go down. You know what? Just drop it all the way down. You had a party. You relax.
Yeah, you did something very relaxing.
Very relaxed.
But did you still want to push?
Yes, because without those dice there, they wouldn't have rolled a 1. So
Yep.
We'll push it now. Okay, I was gonna be really mad if it was another 1.
So you all would notice that there are a couple places you pass. There is one where it looks like there are a number of laborers, some who are just doing basic carrying things from here to there. There are others who seem to be running errands. A lot of them do stop and stare at the very obvious strangers. There is some place you stop by where there are more of these Meechans who are waiting outside a building trying to coax others inside. And they all do stop and stare curiously. With the ones you got, you would notice in some locations, just spattered here and there, are some areas where things are not going so well. There are some poorer areas of this city here. And you do also notice that a lot of places that seem like they would be areas to acquire food are a bit scarce.
Oh.
Oh no, are they the baddies? We have to overthrow them.
Dog's sitting there thinking is every time he's been in a combat zone, he's seen pretty much the exact same thing.
And you would also recall that a lot of the resources and materials and probably food are all going to are all going to various warriors.
Yeah. That's,
Also, pretty good chance that a lot of farmland has been put to the torch.
I mean, I could believe that because, yeah, it's wartime, so the people who are keeping you from being dead have priority.
Hmm.
At least it's not city fighting yet. That's when things get really ugly.
Siege warfare is always ugly.
Yeah.
If they are properly prepared, the city will hold out better than the soldiers will. We should have plenty of rationing, I hope. As long as the Wanzer holds out, and their whole deal is Wanzer.
Yeah. The dog just has a far away, without looking, he's looking, it's just like one of those, his eyes are unfocused, looking over the horizon look. You'd think then.
Tasha, do your people have farmlands, or do you mostly rely on fish? Like,
We have farms. It is one of the easiest ways to get to meat and eggs. Occasionally spices.
okay.
So, captured livestock by raids, restricts food supply, loss of access to fishing grounds. Yeah.
It is difficult to relegate many to continue hunting when farmlands are being taken away from us.
Maybe worth I do not think that anyone in the Trinity would object in the least if we ensured to supply some humanitarian food aid.
We have to make sure that it's safe to give them.
Yeah.
That we're not giving them something that they can't eat.
Yeah, but we're pretty good at that.
That is true.
Case in point, using just the resources aboard the ship, Dr. LaRuccio is able to keep her pets going.
This is true. Maybe we do not require much, just nectar.
No, Byra has seen human children before. But Dr. Lucio refers to the bugs as her babies, and I thought for a moment, like, has Byra seen human children before? But they definitely have. They would have.
When do they metamorphosize into mammals?
Humans, yeah. You didn't know that all French people were really bugs?
Only in the early stages of their life.
They eat the snails to protect their young.
Exactly.
Makes so much more sense now.
But on that note, for the sake of brevity, you all go to the aforementioned location, and a vessel does come flying down. Much to the surprise of whoever has not seen these yet. Excuse me,
So
sorry.
basically, everyone but us and the one person we brought from the village. whose name
Basically,
I-
yes.
Yeah.
And you are given charge of how many did you request?
Basically, he didn't give a specific number, but he requested that it only be volunteers.
Okay, and you were asking for synths specifically.
Specifically synths, because we're dealing with something that causes problems for organics, and synths may not be vulnerable to them.
Okay. So,
And Dog
so-
has a lot of faith in his sealed armor, but he's also directly attached to the research team as opposed to being additional security requested. So
okay.
he wants to minimize the danger to his people. So he's getting his people who are the least at danger from something that puppets organic things.
All right then. For this, after the vessel lands, Chuck the Synth, along with two others, step out, and there are two walking drones and one flying one that are also there at your disposal. Chuck does approach you and offers the gear you had requested, and says, "I have also brought along a number of valuable medical supplies that might come in handy if the targets are indeed hazardous to organics."
Thank you. Hopefully this will.
And buyer, a CCU has been delivered to you.
Oh, excellent. Alright, gonna happily go over and just check it out and just all up to their specs.
You go to check it out, and it looks fairly standard, but when you take a closer look at it, you would find that inside there's a little note that says, make sure to tell anyone that special augmentations are above board.
She's going to fold the note carefully, just hide it in her shirt.
And you now have a upgraded CCU with a move speed of 6, and has what was the main item you wanted to get?
It's like a shock staff, I think, or something like that.
I thought so too.
Okay, nope. I wanted. Yeah, it's a shock staff for the CCU and a stun stave for buyer.
Okay. So you can add the stun stave. I would say the stun stave is probably part of it. You could probably detach it and use it, but it would probably take an action to do
Just
so.
has a nice, convenient mounting for it.
Yes.
Okay. I was thinking something like small collapsibles for stun stave, but detachable works for me as well.
Yep. Attachable and collapsible. And I think that was everything. So, as you all continue and begin to enter the forest, as you're walking, and I see that we're kind of coming to a stopping point, but you are led into the forest by Tasra, And after a while of hiking, they stop and point to an area that looks like a small clearing. It seems some stones were set up to surround an area, and a controlled fire was lit to burn down something. There are the charred bones of something, and whatever else was there is all ash.
Let's see say how far deep in through here.
This is one of the locations that we saw them. The further in we travel into the forest, the more likely we are to run into them.
I hope everybody is prepared, Sin.
What is it?
I should be ready.
Dog is he checks his things. Checks the grenade launcher on his equipment. Loads the and it oh god, it didn't save my grenades. Yep, he loads his frag into the launcher in case if it winds up needed. There's going to be a critter that becomes very splat. And if it doesn't, well, he also has just automatic fire out the wazoo.
It is best to leave nothing left of a Sanshi.
Mm-hmm.
We hope to leave no
I should have
chance.
picked up some incendiaries. Load some spare fuel canisters.
Sorry, what was that?
Yeah, it's just one of those. Making sure everyone has some spare, get some spare fuel canisters, because it's nothing quite like just refined flammable fuels for making something burn quickly.
But as you all begin to move again, I would like, what counts for survival in this?
The closest to survival that I can remember off the top of my head was actually endurance.
Alright, so go ahead and give me an endurance with a +2 for having Tasra.
Alright. Darn good thing we had that +2.
Yep. Okay.
Each or
So-
just dog?
Dog can add another one if you have points in it.
All I have is a set endurance, fortunately.
I
Okay.
don't have anything that could help.
All right. So as you all start to wander further in, you eventually, it's another few hours of traveling. Someone roll me a d6.
Alright.
5.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. As you are traveling, something very large begins to move about. Something that is up in the trees, and when you glance up, there is a large centipede-like critter.
Right. And so Dog sights on it and asks Tasra, hostile?
Glances up and says, "Food. but very dangerous if you piss it off.
Okay.
It looks like that, and it's about that size compared to you.
Huh.
Oh, food.
Ah, shit.
For us or them?
You normally need a number to distract both sides of it and find a way to pry up its armor.
I'm sure a dog could handle
Flipping it
that.
over does not work. It just curls into a big iron ball.
So it's metallic?
I think it's more like iron.
Like iron, it is chitin.
You see?
Okay, so the zap zap might not work.
And
That's not
what
our
does
mission
it-
target.
No, do not.
That'll be. And he just lowered, and it's the rifle's back on. Well, it's back pointed at the ground instead of the thing. It's still on. It's still pretty much on ready, but he's
Yeah,
operating under the assumption he's in hostile terrain.
like it stops skittering from where it's at, and just kind of like sits there, and you see the three little tail antenna thing are up and alert. It has probably stopped moving because it senses your presence. It is just still.
Give it plenty of distance. We have rations with us. We don't need to be picking the fights with the wildlife for food.
No unnecessary fights if we do not have to.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
And so you all begin moving again, and before too long after this little encounter, you do come across a freshly desiccated corpse. Not just that, but this one appears to be one of the glitterbacks, except a lot of the flesh has begun to rot, and sprouting out from along where its spine would be is what appears to be semi-trunk like, as if it were a plant, and roots extend out from beneath the carcass and into the ground.
Looks like our target.
And furthermore, there are several. While this thing does resemble a plant, there are several fleshy-like tendrils that are moving and kind of wiggling and out. Right in the middle of it.
I said this was it.
Alright.
This is one of its spawn.
Oh, this is not even the main one. This is a spawn.
No, the actual demon would be much larger.
Alright.
This little sapling is perhaps about as tall as a person, with, like I said before, a little bulb on top and weird tendrils kind of wiggling in the center of its mass, with the roots arcing all the way through this thing's body and now into the ground. We should
All
ruin
right.
this one before we move on.
We should. Doc, give me your assessment of it before we.
I'd like
Deal with
to scan it from a safe distance.
Sure, go ahead and give me a medicine.
Medicine. Sweet medicine. Advance educate on. Big field, physics, archaeology, biology. Okay. my god. I need to be able to make this bigger so I can just read it instead of having to scroll all the way across. Make a systems test.
I have to keep like extending the page.
Oh. I have the change stars. Yeah, I zoomed out and enough. Oh, do you mean the character sheet?
Yeah, for the talents, I'm just trying to read all of it without having to scroll.
Yeah.
But, okay, so by degree is only for system tests. So that's not going to apply here. Okay. 3 successes though.
Okay. So, couple things you notice. This thing is. This thing is. You would see that this thing has its roots. While its roots are digging down into the ground now, you notice the roots have moved to various points in this creature's, like, underneath this creature's skin. It is also sprouting out at various points in the thing's skull, and probably down along its spinal column as well, where the flesh has already begun to peel and rot away. When you get closer to it, the little fleshy, tendrily parts in the center of its mass all begin to stretch towards you. Not quite reaching you, but something about your movements and your proximity can catch its attention.
Like the damn flowers.
Yes, it's so strange how it follows like that.
Are they by chance related, maybe?
Well,
I'm not
once we
getting
dispatch.
not getting that feeling, right? And they don't seem to be.
They don't seem to be related. You have seen a few flora that has a very ambulatory nature, or at least a relatively active movement. You get that this is some kind of flora. But judging by its root systems, it probably used its host to travel a distance before actually digging its roots into the ground.
Some kind of flora, fungus, something like that.
Yeah.
Well,
And judging by the sprouts in the skull and along the spine, it was probably using this thing's nervous system to somehow instinctually tell it to move to a new location where it can propagate.
frickin' Last of Us plants.
I had this idea before the Last of Us thing
Oh.
came out,
Oh,
and
no.
I got it from an older video I saw, and it was terrifying. I was like, I want to use that.
The ants.
First time. I used similar things literally after seeing cordyceps on planet Earth. The nature documentary. So I had a whole alternity campaign centered around it back when I still used that system. Never actually got to run it. But, well. So
I would
dog
also-
looks over it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would
go
also
ahead.
say, in comparison to the other moving plants you've seen, excuse me, sorry. There was probably some point in the the evolution of this planet's flora that caused it to branch out into various forms. So probably if you go back millions and millions of years, you might find something that connects it. However, many millions of years ago, before there was such an explosive biodiversity, but no, they're not particularly related.
Okay, so this is probably a local species and not something introduced from off-world.
Small mercies.
Maybe. That's... Well, if it wasn't, I'm not necessarily sure it is. If it's from somewhere else, we might already know how to deal with it more than just burn it. Targeted poisons and the like. Targeted herbicides. I grew up around farms. But it does need to be put down.
Yes.
Clear a fire break around it.
So everyone starts gathering stones. I would like everybody to give me scrutiny. Last
Give a what?
Scrutiny.
Scrutiny.
Okay.
Scroot. I feel like this is really important, so I'm gonna push it.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Admittedly, Dog's clearing of a fire break thoughts is he's got a bunch of people who are armed like him. That means probably a Labrys. So it's just you just clear away the vegetation and shit on it. Don't have to go and find rocks. So you just use empty dirt as your fire break.
That brings me up to 3.
All right.
Okay.
High 5 on the rerolls, guys.
For Rindus especially, you're the first to notice it, and then you, Fire. There is very, very slow movement coming from another patch of vegetation, and it was almost imperceptible with how slowly and meticulously it is moving. But there's a large flower that has begun to blossom. But the interesting thing you're noticing is that its stem is stretching out further and further towards you. And as it blossoms further, you notice, before it can do anything, that on the inside of some of those petals are tiny little barbs. And it is stretching out towards your group.
Careful.
Roger.
Target. Tasha.
And that is where we will pause.
Okay.
Oh, beans.
Well, because the first thing that is going to happen now that Dog's aware of it is that flower is going to we'll get a face full of lead.
And Dog is going to wish that instead of an underslung grenade launcher, he had an underslung flamethrower.
But those are very illegal. However, he's thinking that if this kind of plant is as big of a problem as he thinks it is, he might be able to get a special authorization for that to deal with them. You know, they're used in certain combat engineering applications, namely clearing of vegetation. We technically still have pretty much every military, even those that never use them on living human targets, still have flamethrowers in their arsenal because they're used to clear vegetation. Hell, most rural fire departments have a flamethrower in their arsenal for controlled burns.
This definitely counts for vegetation.
Well, then it would be really easy to get a defoliant flamethrower sent down, which Dog should have thought. I should have thought of to
let's do some outros. And I would like everybody to tell me one thing they would like to. One thing they wish they brought along besides flamethrowers.
Incendiary ammunition and and incendiary grenades.
Just fire.
Fire, defoliants, some Roundup. It's not from Earth. It doesn't have a chance to become resistant to glyphosates.
Lie.
Caustic lye. Yep. I've used that to kill plants.
Oh, goats, actually. Lots of goats.
Lots of goats.
Murder goats.
Yeah.
So the problem is that might just be feeding it more things to become vicious with. Then again, I've seen what goats will do to stuff.
Yeah, I was like, goats are pretty aggressive. They might stand a chance.
No,
Fires
it's
earthly
genetically engineered armored goats.
Oh, that screamed the entire time.
It's just And then what have we introduced? We've introduced something even worse to the planet.
But they
Doom
do
goats.
face skeletons.
Very aggressive doom goats.
Armory them gave them the fating gene.
I feel like that is just another thing for me to make into a one sheet one shot. It's just Doom goats.
But yes, outros, everybody.
Y'all can start. I'll wrap it up.
Okay. All right. I've been John, also known as Captain Carrion, playing Dog today, and you can find me here, at the usual time on Wednesdays, and over on Steam Steel Murder on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Central Time.
Okay, I will go next. I am Dougler. You can find me here Wednesdays and Tuesdays for more TTRPG excellence. You can also find me over my own channel on Twitch, Dougler93, where I play games and do art. Should also be streaming Friday and maybe early tomorrow morning. We'll see how things go. Oh, and over to Shay.
Hello, everybody. I'm Shay, or Shay the Fae, here on Twitch. This has been my homebrew attempting to make into a small campaign of Change Stars. I know this game has been pretty hit or miss. Real life is very, very busy, but we're trying to keep a consistent schedule. That being said, I hope everybody enjoyed, and I hope my players continue to enjoy. But everybody, take care, and that's more or less me.
Alright, well, I am Rentis of Party Wife Games. You're on our channel currently. Thanks for stopping by. You can catch us tomorrow for Brindlewood Bay in the afternoon, and then if you are still sticking around, you can catch me over on Valdrian's channel in the evening, where we are playing Old Gods of Appalachia. I am a scrappy protector, and she likes to punch things. I plan to either bed down the Mothman or punch him in the face. We haven't decided yet. Fine. We can raid somebody, and I do believe 1-1 is doing art, so I think that might be the way to go. Nope, she's not on there anymore. Well, we will just go to my go-to of Man of G, because she is playing some Grand Theft Auto. She always appreciates it, which is what's important. Alright. So, we will see you all next time. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.